Solar hot water systems that use clean, renewable solar energy are one of the key technologies available to us to reduce carbon emissions from buildings, along with good low-energy building design and energy-efficient equipment. In this webcast, we're going to demonstrate how important solar energy is to the Scottish economy and society, as well as to the global environment, not least because Scotland itself has such a long heating season. Scotland has pioneered the production and use of solar energy on buildings in Europe, and from very small beginnings at the Findhorn eco-village, is now leading the way in the development of the UK solar energy industry. We will show you how solar hot water panels are made on our own Scottish manufacturer, AES Limited, in Forres, and how academia at Heriot-Watt University and AES are working together to test and improve systems. Then we take a look at how one Scottish housing association, Lister Housing, and its tenants are working with an NGO, Changeworks, and the City of Edinburgh Council and its planners to put Scottish solar hot water systems on the roofs of the traditional tenement buildings in the heart of historic Edinburgh. Let's start by looking at how important solar energy is to the residents of Findhorn Eco-Village in northern Scotland.
My name's Michael Sharp, and we're standing just on the Field of Dreams at the park Findhorn, also known as the Eco-Village sometimes. This is the most recent part of a series of eco-houses that are built at the foundation starting in the late 80s with the foundation's own building program, and then later, about 95, this bit of land was purchased and developed as a separate development. These are all timber frame houses, highly insulated. For the most part, yeah, pretty much natural materials throughout, including the insulation, which is recycled cellulose insulation. Most of them have larch cladding, Scottish-grown larch cladding on the outside, and all sorts of roofs from slate to terracotta and some metal. And most of them have solar panels for hot water, and a couple have photovoltaic panels as well. The community has 4 of its own wind turbines, and we're actually a net exporter of electricity. First one went up, gosh, about 20 years ago, and then the 3 others went up, I think, 3 to 4 years ago. These are the pellets that we're burning in this boiler that you can see behind me, which is a 25 kilowatt wood pellet boiler, which is supplying all the hot water for heating and domestic hot water for this 3-house eco-terrace at Findhorn. That is all the hot water that's not supplied by the solar panels on the roof. Well, these pellets are being manufactured in Scotland now. There's a plant at Invergordon, and also one, Arbuthnot pellets out towards Aberdeen. And these are coming in cheaper than, well, our local options here are electricity, propane in orange bottles or in the larger green tanks. We don't have mains gas, and these are coming in cheaper than all of those fuels. And because it's a terrace of 3 houses, we have to apportion the costs appropriately. So we have electronic heat meters here that monitor the amount of heat going to each of the 3 houses. Okay, my name's Michael Sharp, and welcome to my house. This is one of 3 eco-houses that were built together in a little terrace about 4 or 5 years ago. And they're all timber framed, 200 millimeters of insulation in the walls, 300 millimeters in the roof, all with recycled cellulose insulation. And the room we're sitting in at the moment is, well, I call it my sunroom, and it's got southwest and southerly exposure, and very good passive solar gains, and does quite a good job of heating the house in the shoulder seasons anyway, and certainly in the summer. I have a wood stove is my principal source of heating, and because of the open plan design, the heat just tends to circulate naturally up to the upper story, and yeah, it does quite a good job of heating the house. I haven't had any radiators put in yet, may do in the future, but I haven't needed them so far. Also got 3 square meters of thermal solar panels on the roof, which provide all my hot water, certainly. We did a bit of an experiment a couple of years ago my neighbour and I just decided to disconnect from the wood pellet boiler, and just to see if we could go all summer without using the wood pellet boiler as a supply of heat, and managed to do that quite well. We have oversized hot water cylinders, 300 litres, so that we can really take advantage of the solar panels. Yeah, and you might not think that solar panels would work that well up in Scotland, but they certainly do. In fact, by third week in February or so, they're really cranking out a lot of heat, and I'm already getting a full cylinder of hot water up to about 65 degrees, late February, early March. And it'll go on doing that all summer, of course. In fact, a year or so after we had them installed, the solar panels, we had to get the insulation changed on the return pipe because it was actually melting. We had to get a special high temperature insulation because the water's coming back at over 80 degrees sometimes from the panels. And these are just simple flat pipe collectors. They're not the more sophisticated evacuated tube ones. So even your basic flat plate will do very well up here. Not so well in the winter, obviously, but having said that, I've had my panels come on, I've had the pump come on for the panels around Christmas, simply because the cold water is coming out of the tap at maybe 4 degrees, it certainly was this winter, and the panels, even around Christmas time, will crank that up to 15 to 18, so that's even a gain there. So year round, they'll do some good, obviously.